Hey everyone, I'm super excited to have our next guest for Project 1000 Hires. We have my dear friend Brian coming all the way from Chicago. So, Brian, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. And like I said, I think it's a really good project at what you're doing and shows that there's still a lot of good in the world.
Listen, we're all put in this world in order to make a difference and to help each other out. So, like I always say, there's no commandment in the Bible that says, "Thou shalt be an asshole." You know? So, background, why don't you give us a brief description? Um, where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the city of Chicago. So to make it very culturally aware, my heyday was during the Jordan years. So I want to make sure it's relevant. Spent my childhood in the city of Chicago. Went to undergrad at Indiana University. Graduated in 2008. Came back to Chicago. Decided to get my master's degree in marketing communication. Part of the reason when I'm still in Chicago is, my brother, who's my best friend, lives right down the street from me. My parents are only about a 15-minute walk from me, so family is something that's really important to me. And I've been lucky enough to still to be in Chicago. I'm surrounded by not only my family, but also my wife's family lives here as well. And then the other thing I tell people, people that I mentor, people I talk to all the time, is the older I get, the more I realize that I need my parents. The more I find out that everything that they drive that drives me crazy about them is that it's just wise, good advice that it always turns out to be advice that I should have taken a lot earlier. So as you get older and wiser and communication skills improve, you start to realize that what my parents are telling me is not usually, but is mostly always the right thing.
Right. Wow. So in your old age, you're starting to realize your parents were actually right. I love it.
Yeah, I always tell a funny story. I was in Italy about 2 years ago, and my dad was like, "You have to go to this gelato place. This is the best gelato." And I'm like, "Well, Dad, I'm in Italy. Like every place has gelato." And so we were walking, and we find the gelato place, and we were in Italy for about a week and a half, and we're even 3,000 miles away, and eating gelato for a week and a half. This was still the best gelato I ever had. And so it's just like, yeah, from taxes to life advice to everything, it just turns out that uh, the older I get, the more I probably need their wisdom.
Wow. I love it. And I'd love to meet your dad one day. So why don't you take us through a personal project or accomplishment that you're working on or accomplished that you're extremely proud of?
Yeah, so kind of going back into that, one thing that's always really important to me is reading. Challenging myself to constantly be reading an article, be reading a book. And so in about 2016, I instead of making these crazy abstract, New Year's resolutions, I said I want to read a book a month. So in 2016, I wanted to create some discipline. I realized wasn't reading as much. I was kind of getting away from that. And so in 2016, I said I'm going to read a book a month. Um, Succeeded that goal. 2017 is I'm going to read a book every 3 weeks. Now I'm going to read a book every 2 weeks. And so now, not only is that, well, maybe sometimes I'm not reading as much, I've disciplined myself where every night I'm at least reading 30 minutes. We're in quarantine. I've read, I think, 6 books in the last 7 days. So maybe I have too much free time, but it created that discipline to where I said, no matter what it is, even if I'm just going to read 3 pages, you carve by the time, so this is a set time. And I'm a creature of habit, and the more routine I can create, the better I can get to the goals that I want to hit.
Right. Well, you should definitely create a list of top books that you've read, so the other people recommend to others.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when I email people, I always put a suggestion of books that I've read or anything like that. So I will definitely include that.
Right. Yeah. So why don't you tell us about, let's flip the script over there and tell us about a personal challenge that you went through and overcame.
Yeah, so the one that always comes to mind was that so I graduated from Indiana University in 2008, and that was when the recession hit. And so I graduated with a communications degree, and then just kind of thinking I'll just get a job. That my brother did it. That's everybody you talk to. They graduate, somebody hires them, and you learn that. So in '08, you start to learn that entry level jobs or roles I was looking for were not as readily available, and so luckily, again, going back to my parents, education is important. So I kind of pivoted. I figured out what is going to make me stand out. So I went back to school. I got my master's in integrated marketing and communications, learned a handful of new disciplines, and then pivot that or parlay that into a role at Groupon. And the reason why that's important was when I got the job at Groupon, that's when Groupon was one of the most well-desired places to work at. It was one of the biggest startups in the country. And I was able to use a lot of my marketing background to get into a sales role. And then the reason why I think that's important to me is my whole background's been in sales and operations, and getting that degree, getting that discipline, getting into a job, kind of set the pace for my career is where I'm today.
Wow, super cool. So there's no doubt in my mind, that own self-learning and, that discipline that you've had previously is going to definitely translate into your next role. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for in your next role?
Yeah, so abstractly, I'm always looking for a role that's going to be a challenge. Um, my career has mostly been in startups. So what I look for and like to help people is it's less about the title. It's more about, is this an opportunity to create personal growth on a day-to-day basis?
Hmm.
Is this a role that's going to align with my values? Is this a role where it's going to allow me to build long-term client relationships? Um, because I believe in my career where companies are able to create the most revenue is through their current clients.
Right.
So can you create those relationships where you can create those tools and create those platforms that help grow both accounts?
Mhm.
And always looking for a job that I can put myself out there. I can be on the front lines, and I can help create content to push both of the companies moving forward.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Brian, first of all, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to be an incredible resource for any company that I guess has the opportunity to hire you. So, first of all, I want to wish you a ton of success and a lot of luck. And we are definitely going to do everything in our ability to make sure you're able to stay in the Windy City over there in Chicago and send all the most incredible opportunities your way. So, and thank you so much for joining us.
No, awesome. This has been a pleasure, and what really makes me excited about this is there's a lot of people in my position. I'm really excited to tell them about this, and hopefully spread the word for this.
Please. Hmm. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.